Israeli fighter jets also shot down drones in a similar strike against a Yemeni organization sponsored by Iran in retaliation for the Hamas conflict. The IDF claims there is no threat or harm to civilians. Welcome everyone. In today's video, we're going to tell you Yemen launched ballistic missiles on Israel. In the first operational application of the long-range system during the conflict with Hamas, the IDF announced on Tuesday that the Air-to-Air defense system successfully intercepted a surface-to-surface missile fired from the Red Sea area toward Israel. But before we proceed the further video, if you're new to this channel, remember, go ahead and hit the bell icon to subscribe, so you won't miss the informative videos we will upload in the future. The ballistic missile was thought to have been fired against the southern city of Eilat by the Houthis in Yemen, who are supported by Iran. Air Force systems followed the missile's trajectory and intercepted it at the most optimal operational moment and location, according to a statement from the Israel Defense Forces. Images captured the Arrow missile smoke path, and locals claim to have heard a loud explosion. According to the IDF, fighter jets shot down two more hostile targets in the early morning that were reportedly drones flying over the Red Sea. Every threat was stopped outside of the state of Israel's borders. The IDF said no breach into Israeli territory was found. The missile and several other recent attempted strikes on southern Israel were attributed to the Houthi rebels in Yemen, who are supported by Iran. Yemenis assemble for prayers in Sana'a, the capital city under Houthi rule, with some of them carrying the Palestinian flag. A representative for the group, Yahya Sria, stated that the aerial attack, which included drones and ballistic and cruise missiles, was executed out of a sense of religious, moral, humanitarian and national responsibility for the Gaza population, given the fragility of the Arab world and the cooperation of certain Arab nations with Israel. The demands of the Yemeni people were the driving force behind the operation. He continued. Syria declared that this was the group's third attack on Israel since the war's beginning and promised to launch more missile and drone strikes on Israel. The Prime Minister of the Houthi government, Abdulaziz bin Habtour, declared earlier on Tuesday that these drones belong to the state of Yemen. Along with Hamas, which is also supported by Tehran, the Houthis, who took over the capital of Yemen in 2014 and now rule huge portions of the nation, are part of the axis of resistance against Israel. They are waging war against Israel using words and drones, he continued. After the missile attack, the IDF declared early on Wednesday morning that air defense forces had intercepted an aerial danger that was spotted in the Red Sea area, south of Eilat. The military went on to say that no infiltration of Israeli land was recognized, and that there was no danger to people, although they did not say what was intercepted. The declaration was made soon after a loud explosion was heard by Eilat residents, and footage from the city beside the Red Sea revealed an interceptor missile. There were no siren-sounding warnings. It was the most recent of several assaults believed to have been carried out by Iranian-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen, raising fears that Israel's conflict with Hamas, which was ignited by the terror group's deadly strike on October 7, would expand to other fronts. Tuesday morning, there were reports of suspected drone infiltration in Eilat. At first, the IDF claimed to have located an aerial target that was moving toward Israeli land. Later on, it was revealed that two targets, possibly drones launched from Yemen, had been intercepted by fighter jets. On November 24, 2021, in Sana'a, Yemen, armed Houthi rebels participate in the funeral procession of rebel fighters who lost their lives in combat with forces of the internationally recognized government of Yemen. The military declared there was no threat or risk to civilians. The southern vacation city is temporarily housing tens of thousands of people who were displaced by the bombings by Hezbollah on the north and Hamas on the south of Israel. Shortly after an unmanned aerial vehicle crashed into the Red Sea village of Taba, Egypt, on Friday, injuring 6 people, a fighter jet oversaw a target over the sea, which appeared to be a drone headed for Israel. The IDF said that the early morning attack in Taba came from the Red Sea area, ostensibly alluding to the Houthi rebels in Yemen who are supported by Iran. The explosions in Egypt happened after the Houthi rebels in Yemen, who are supported by Iran, tried earlier this month to launch missiles at Israel across the Red Sea. The Pentagon declared that 3 missiles fired by the Houthi rebels in Yemen, who are backed by Iran, were intercepted by a U.S. Navy destroyer en route to the north. It is possible that the missiles were shot at Israel. In the midst of the Israel-Hamas conflict, Houthi rebels have threatened Israel and shown solidarity for the Palestinian people. The group Death to America, Death to Israel, Curse the Jews, Victory to Islam is supported by Iran. Iran has frequently threatened Israel with greater danger if it does not end its war against Gazan terrorists. The conflict was started in response to Hamas's terrorist attack in southern Israel on October 7, which claimed 1,400 Israeli lives, the most of them civilians. Fears of regional conflict. Large portions of Yemen are under the influence of the Houthis, who took over the capital city of Sana'a in 2014. They have previously launched attacks in the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia, both of which conducted military campaigns against the rebels. The Houthi announcement was met with caution by the United States, which maintains hostile relations with Iran but has welcomed a de facto truce in Yemen's brutal civil conflict since April 2022. Reporters in Washington were informed by State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller, anyone thinking of joining this fight should not do it. According to Pentagon spokesman Brigadier General Pat Ryder, Israel shot down a medium-range missile that the Houthis had fired. Ryder remarked, "We want to prevent a bigger regional confrontation, as we've indicated before." Israel said that its planes had intercepted hostile targets en route to southern Israel, and it blamed the Houthis for the drone strike on Friday. Simultaneously, the Egyptian army said at the time that 6 persons suffered minor injuries when rubble from a building in the neighboring Egyptian resort of Taba, across the border from Eilat, struck the building. On October 19, the U.S. Navy claimed to have shot down many drones fired by the Houthis, potentially towards Israel, as well as 3 land attack cruise missiles. Since the October 7 massacre, in which militants from Hamas broke through the border and killed over 1,400 people, mostly civilians, and kidnapped over 230 more, Israel has been bombarding Gaza. Since then, over 8,500 people have died as a result of Israeli bombardment. More than 3,500 of them were children, according to the Health Ministry of Gaza, which is governed by Hamas and is a destitute region with 2.4 million residents. A regional conflict is highly concerning, particularly since Iran, which supports Hamas both militarily and financially, but maintains it was not involved in the October 7 incident, has loyalists and proxy fighters in Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen. There have been several strikes against us soldiers in Iraq and Syria since the start of the Gaza conflict, in addition to nearly daily gunfire between the Israeli army and Hezbollah across the Israel-Lebanon border. That's all for today's video. Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi issued a vague warning on Sunday on X, the old Twitter, claiming that Israel had reached the red lines, and this may force everyone to take action. Don't forget to like the video and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any new videos from our channel. Thanks for watching and see you all soon.